Want a baby before or after 30?
Oh Lord, that's a big question. I'm not even thinking about that, to be honest. I haven't put much thought into that one.
I love that they respect me and trust me enough to know, like, I knew the baby was a boy before the world knew, because she did tell me in France, she was like, I'm having a boy. But she knew I'm not gonna say nothing. The minute they said it was a boy, then I was like, okay.
How'd you lose all that weight, man?
I'm on semaglutide now, which is a part of Ozempic. It's a shot once a week, no appetite. I went from 222 to 197. But when I started my weight loss journey, I was 323. Then I went and had surgery. I got the gastric sleeve, where they basically do small incisions in your stomach. They take your stomach, they cut it down, they put clamps around it, and then they cut off the excess stomach and staple it up. And then you have a new stomach. So like you literally go from a stomach that can take 6.5 cups of food to like 3 or 4 bites, you're full.
Y'all, we have 3 stories today. Jason Lee is coming for Megan Thee Stallion again, and the take he gave is going to make people pick sides. Zendaya is getting called a climate criminal over a dress. And Makeup Shayla finally had her baby boy. Let's get into all of it. Starting with Jason Lee, because this one has people genuinely divided. Jason Lee went on the Truth After Dark podcast and made a very specific argument about Megan Thee Stallion. His point was simple and pointed. Every man she has dated has ended up being the bad guy. Tory Lanez shot her. Or at least, that is what was decided in court. Now Klay Thompson is cheating on her. And Jason's take is that if every single person you date ends up being the villain, maybe you need to look at what the common denominator is. He said it directly. Every guy, every time, ends up being the bad guy. Now let me give y'all the background on this, because Jason Lee and Megan have history that goes way back. This is not just a random person with a hot take. This man has been coming for Megan for years. He was questioning her story during the Tory Lanez situation. He was the one who put out that story about her allegedly getting into it with Winnie Harlow at Michael Rubin's party. He apologized to her at some point, but clearly that apology did not stick, because here he is again. A lot of people believe this whole pattern of Jason targeting Megan started because she never came on his show. And honestly, when you look at the timing and the history, that theory is not hard to believe, because the consistency with which this man finds reasons to go after her, specifically, does feel personal. Megan, for her part, has not said anything. She does not address him. She pays him dust and keeps moving. Now, here is where I land on this. Can we blame Megan for other people's choices? No. Nobody is responsible for what someone else decides to do in a relationship. But I do think sometimes people fall into patterns when it comes to who they choose. It does not mean Megan is the bad guy. It does not mean Jason Lee is right. But the pattern he is pointing at is real, even if his motivations for pointing at it are messy. Because here is the thing. Sometimes relationships just do not work out. Sometimes people choose partners who end up not being who they thought they were. That can happen to anyone. But Jason Lee, calling her out specifically, with all of the history he has of targeting her, makes this feel less like genuine concern and more like petty point scoring. There is a difference between having an observation and using that observation to publicly drag someone every chance you get. Megan has not responded. She probably will not. And honestly, that might be the right call, because engaging with Jason Lee does not seem like a fight that ends well for anyone. Do you think Jason Lee has a valid point here? Or is this just messy behavior from someone who has a personal issue with Megan? Let me know in the comments. But let's move to story 2, because this one has the internet equally fired up. Zendaya is being called out, and some people are even calling her a climate criminal, over what happened before her London premiere for The Odyssey. Here is what went down. Zendaya had a premiere in London. Her stylist, Law Roach, flew to Paris specifically to attend a runway show, waited for the model to finish walking in a particular dress, got that dress taken off the model the moment the runway was done, put it on a private jet, and flew it to London so Zendaya could wear it to her premiere that same night. Now, Law Roach confirmed all of this. He said he flew in the night before for the show, had a private jet waiting, and needed to get that specific dress from that model so a very special girl could wear it. He described it as giving premiere audiences something real. And look, the dress was stunning. Zendaya never misses. That is just facts. She is consistently one of the most fashion-forward people on any red carpet, and this look was no exception. But people are very unhappy about how the look was executed. The criticism comes in 2 directions. First, there is the environmental angle. Europe was in the middle of a heat wave when this happened, and the image of burning jet fuel to transport a single dress, just a dress, from one city to another for a premiere did not sit well with people who are watching climate issues get worse in real time. The carbon footprint of a private jet is not nothing, and when it is deployed for something this specific and this optional, people feel some kind of way about it. Second, there is the broader out-of-touch argument. Some people feel that this kind of behavior reflects a level of disconnection from the reality most people live in that makes it hard to feel warm toward a celebrity, even one as talented and generally well-liked as Zendaya. Now, here is my honest take. I do not have a problem with what she did. If you have the resources and the access to pull something like that off, and the show is willing to let you have the dress, I understand why you do it. That is the kind of decision-making that comes with being at the absolute top of the industry. And whether Zendaya sends that jet or not, there are thousands of other flights happening that same day. Her one decision is not the thing tipping the planet. But I also understand why it bothers people. There is something about the casual deployment of extreme excess, a private jet for a single garment, that reads as tone-deaf even when it is not intended that way. And in a cultural moment where people are increasingly sensitive to how the ultra-wealthy move through the world, this was always going to generate a reaction. Zendaya has not addressed the criticism directly. The premiere pictures are incredible. And life goes on. What do you think? Do you feel like Zendaya was out of touch? Or is this just celebrity life and people need to let it go? Drop your take in the comments. Now let's end on something that is just straight up joyful. Makeup Shayla had her baby boy. Shayla and her husband Les officially welcomed their first child together, and she announced it on Instagram with the caption, "He's finally here and we love it." She shared a first look at his little face. Les got into the comments saying he had no words for how grateful and excited and amazed he felt. They have not shared the name yet, so all of us are waiting. For those who do not know the backstory, Shayla and Les got married back in 2021 at a beautiful destination wedding in Cabo. Then earlier this year, Shayla posted a video of the moment she told Les she was pregnant, and it was everything. The joy in that video was completely genuine. After that, they did a formal announcement on the beach with Les all over her baby bump and Shayla serving looks the entire pregnancy the way only she can. Because that is the thing about Shayla, she is an OG. We are talking day one YouTube era, back when she was doing makeup tutorials and building a community before most people even understood what that meant. She stayed consistent, stayed authentic, grew with her audience, and now she is stepping into this new chapter of life. She looked incredible the whole 9 months. The glam did not stop. The content did not stop. She carried that pregnancy with style and presence, right up until the end. And now that baby boy is here. I am genuinely happy for them. This is one of those moments where you just want to celebrate someone because they seem like genuinely good people who have built something real together. Congratulations to Shayla and Les. We cannot wait to find out this baby's name. So that is everything for today. Jason Lee continuing his pattern of coming for Megan while she pays him no attention. Zendaya making a fashion moment that has split the internet between admiration and climate concern. And Shayla bringing a whole new life into the world. Drop your thoughts on any of these stories in the comments. Which one had you talking the most today? And subscribe if you are not already, because we stay on top of everything happening in entertainment. Talk to you in the next one.